Hello guys and welcome to this new tutorial. Today we are going to learn about three-phase systems and what are the ratings of the AC around the world. AC system is not standardized to one rating. It depends if you are in Europe, in USA, in Australia, in the Middle East. It's different from a place to place. First, let's explain what is a three-phase system, then we are going to Google together to check the rating in your country. So our single-phase system consisted of one phase line and one neutral line, and electrons were fluctuating backwards and forwards. However, in three-phase system, and as the name states, we have three phases, and we may or may not have a neutral line. Now let's take a look at the waveform. We see three voltages, and we'll usually label them with L1, L2, and L3, corresponding to phase number 1, phase line number 2, and phase line number 3. However, if we observe the first phase line, we see that it reaches the peak before the second and the third line. Now, if we take a closer look at this waveform, we will see that the three-phase line reaches the peak voltage at a different time instances. So phase line 1 reaches peak first. After some time, the second one reaches the peak. After some time, the third one reaches the peak. We call this difference in reaching the peak voltage value as the phase difference. Now let's take a look at this voltage source, which is AC, rated at 380 volts and 60 hertz. We will see that this system does contain a neutral line. We labeled the phases L1, L2, and L3, and we labeled the neutral as N. Now in these systems, we have two voltage ratings. The first one is phase-to-phase voltage rating. So if we measure the voltage between any two phases of the three phases, we are going to get a certain value. However, measuring the voltage between any of the three phases with the neutral line, we're going to get a different voltage rate. We call the first one we mentioned phase-to-phase voltage, and we call the second one we mentioned as the phase-to-line voltage. Now, the values mentioned here are not constant everywhere. So, to make this clearer, let us Google and see the voltage rating for three phase lines in different countries. So let's write USA EU three-phase ratings and see what's gonna come up. Let's check this first result and see what it contains. Okay, so this site seems to have different ratings of three-phase equipments for different countries. Wow, this is awesome. They seem to show every single country in the world, and they're showing the voltage ratings they use. So this is in Canada, and they seem to use multiple voltage types. So you need to check if your equipment is matched with the voltage source you're using. Otherwise, there's a serious problem that may come up. This is in England, and they seem to be using 415 volts. So if you look at the most right column, you will see how many lines are being used. If it's a 3, it means 3-phase without neutral. If it's 4, it means 3-phase with neutral. This is New Zealand, and it's 400 volts 3-phase line. The USA also uses multiple ratings, so you need to check before you start your design. I'll attach this website with this lecture so that you can check what is the rating used in your country.